Okay, hey guys. All right, here's part 2. Now we're going to go ahead and create that 3-inch box. You should have your two 5-inch rectangles. One of the rectangles will be broken down into 1-inch squares. Again, if you're using the other type of ruler, you know, again, the ones that when you come into class that I have here, those 1-inch gridded rulers are great, but again, you're going to use whatever you have available to you. You know, this is another one that I have in the classroom. It's just a Dollar Tree ruler. Okay, so again, if you're using whatever ruler you have, the Dollar Tree ruler, then your rectangles, of course, would be a little bit thicker. What we're really just aiming for is the length, you know, as far as being 5 inches. And I didn't show this before, but, you know, if you use a different type of ruler, this one starts, you know, the numbers start right on the edge of the ruler, whereas some rulers, okay, again, there's a little bit of a space and then the numbers begin. But it's okay. Again, I'm just kind of very quickly walking you through how to do this value scale because, again, it's one of those necessary things for Basic Studio. So I don't want you to worry about that. If your your value scale is a little bit thicker because you're working with a thicker ruler, we're not using the ruler traditionally for this. We're just really trying to get those, you know, 2 rectangles going. Okay, so we're here. Now we're going to continue. If we look ahead again, I encourage you to look at the 2 examples that are in the assignment. Okay, this is an example before it's shaded, and then of course this is where we're headed. Okay, so now we're going to do our 3-inch square. So if you look over here, I'm going to say the easiest way to do it is look at your ruler, depending on, again, the type of ruler that you have. All right, and if you're using like the ruler that I have in class, it's kind of easy to see. So I'm going to say I'm going to make this 2 inches apart. So what I'm doing to make this easy is lining it up like this, you know, so that line is right on one of my rectangles, and I want to make a 3-inch box. So I have, you can see 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make it right over here. So I'm going to make sure that this is straight, and I'm going to take my pencil. Again, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. And then I go ahead and I'm going to make a little register mark. It's almost like an L. Okay, and then I'm going to make a mark at 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, and again, it would be the same thing if you're using, you know, whatever type of ruler you have here. You would just line it up. All right, so again, I want to give myself 2 inches, and you can see the 3. So you would hold it the same way. Line up your ruler with the 2 rectangles you made. Again, we're going to do a little math, right? So if I want it 2 inches apart, okay, I'm going to, you know, here you can see I'm lining it up with, you know, of course, the 5-inch mark. And right here is where I would go ahead. This ruler is a little different, like I said, so you can make a mark here and then go ahead and bring it to the 3-inch mark and make another little register mark there. Okay, and then it's 2 inches apart. All right, so what I did here, and again, because I have my right angle, if I line this back up like this, you can see that that's ready to go. And then what I would do again is turn my ruler this way. I would make sure that that is flush. Again, we're just trying our best to keep this straight. And then I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the page. And you can do this with whatever ruler you have. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to the 3-inch mark. The other way of doing this as well is because now I have my 3-inch mark here. You could have done the same thing. Line it up, line these marks up, line these marks up, make a mark at 3. There's so many different ways. I'm not going to get crazy about like this being, oh, it has to be 2 inches apart. No, I'm just going to ask you again, try your best to get the 3-inch square. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and bring it over like this. I'm going to line it up in this right angle here. You see there's a right angle so that I can easily get my ruler in there to go ahead and make my other side of the box. And again, stopping at 3, making a little register mark. So I have my 2. So that way I can just come in, and I can do it this way too to make sure that in fact I have a 3-inch square. And you can see I'm lining it up there and lining it up there. And there we go. We have our 3-inch square. Now, if you look at my example here, okay, because again, this is our little shading scale for atmospheric perspective. We just finished, well, we didn't finish that perspective drawing, but we're talking about perspective, okay? And when you're outside and when you're looking out, especially, you know, in a, in a beautiful, let's say, landscape where you have mountains in the back, you'll always notice that things are hazy in the background, you know, when you look out. And as things get closer, things get sharper and, of course, clearer and darker. Okay, and we're going to cover that eventually when we get into landscapes. But for this value scale, all right, what I need you to do, and you can see the one in the back is very, very faint, but you're going to make 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, look at the example, and I don't want you to go crazy. You're just going to try your best. Now, I'm going to press a little bit harder on this. You know, I'm going to just press a little bit harder only so that way you guys at home can see. And you got to just imagine that these are mountains in the background, you know, so just go ahead and get creative with it. And that last one, again, you're going to make sure, because this one's going to be super light. Again, I'm pressing a little bit harder because I want you to see it on the video. Then we can go ahead and start labeling. All right, so this one here, you want to make sure that you label it correctly. Atmospheric perspective. All of the spelling and everything is in the, you know, lesson, in the notes. And then, of course, we have the other charts here. Your name should be on it. And then the last thing you need to do is go ahead and write value and the definition. Now, I know you don't need me to show you how to do that because as a class, we've already have done that, you know, together. So I'm going to end it here.